Good morning, Internet. This is the Old Fat Dad, and welcome back to another beautiful day on the Goober Nation gun range. Last video, I checked out CCI's controversial new ammo, the CCI Uppercut. We tested it out of a pistol. Lots of you guys wanted to see what it did out of a rifle, so today we are looking at CCI's Uppercut round one more time, but this time we're going to go ahead and fire it through a rifle. We'll be doing our usual battery of tests. We'll do the dog food, small game simulator. We'll do the ballistic clay. And for you guys who love numbers, at the end, we'll do some velocity and accuracy testing as well. I've got my Crickett rifle over here. We're gonna put it to the side for this particular test and use the Ruger 1022 and shoot our fun explosive targets. We got the small game simulator, also known as dog food. It's got a tough skin, meaty interior. Always gives us interesting results, tells you what kind of damage that bullet's going to do in a smaller game kind of situation. Then we got the ballistic modeling clay. We'll shoot the clay first, see what kind of damage we get, and then switch over and blow up some dog food cans. We've got our clay target set up at about 10 to 15 yards, and we're going to go right down the line. Uppercut, Velocitor, Stinger. We'll do some dissection and check out the damage afterwards. Hopefully we get more impressive results here than we did with the pistols. There is a bulletproof backer, so if they penetrate, I'm hoping that'll catch our bullet. All right, let's start out with the nefarious, infamous, maybe underrated uppercut. Oh no, okay. I think it might have gone through already, unfortunately, but it looks like our backer is still there, so let's hit it with the Velocitor. Oh yeah, definitely went through with that one. That was a good hit. Finish up with the Stinger. Okay, good. So we got 3 good hits. Even from here, I can already tell that the Uppercut has the smallest entrance, but let's withhold judgment until we look at the results. All right, I'm really glad that we didn't just take it at face value and we opened these blocks up, because there is a story here that's different from what the entrance wounds tell us. I don't think the Uppercut is as bad as I thought it was. We're going to start with the Velocitor, though, because it's the easiest one to kind of see what happened, and the Velocitor is just old dependable here. It punches through stuff. It leaves a nice big wound cavity there. The entrance is the bigger part where it opens up. The hollow point turns into a big fat flat bullet, does a lot of damage, and then kind of poops out the end there. So Velocitor, great performer, penetrates awesomely, does a lot of damage, awesome round, can't complain about that. Next up is the Stinger. So the Stinger is a lot different than the Velocitor, and I'm hoping the camera picked it up, but it might not. So I'm going to describe what's going on here. Tons of little pieces of lead in there. Stinger hit here, just expanded terrifically, and it actually stopped in here. I had to do a little bit of damage to the clay to dig it out because it was wedged way down in there, and that's what's left of the Stinger. It kind of came apart, the hollow point and the base kind of separated, but you see how big it expanded to and how flat it is? Stinger also does a really good job of doing a ton of damage and not penetrating like the Velocitor does. So Stinger, predictable, does what we expected. Here's the interesting part. Our Uppercut definitely did a ton of damage. Despite the small entry, it opened up huge right when it hit, because these 3 cavities here are little bits of that hollow point separating out into tiny little pieces, opening up and actually doing a lot of damage. It stopped right there. All we had was the base of the bullet. So there's almost nothing left of that original hollow point, just a little itty bitty disc. And on the other side, again, it looks like a flower almost. You see how we got those individual tracks in there? That's all where we had the hollow point essentially breaking off and segmenting, and really doing a pretty respectable job. Just putting it up against the stinger here. We got the uppercut stinger. I mean, is there a big difference there? To me, not really. And if you look at the overall diameter of the wound cavity with those petals kind of coming off, I gotta say, I think the uppercut might have done a little bit more damage. These are the recovered bullets from our 3 different rounds here. Velocitor, as you can see, I shot another one to capture it, and it just expands really well, holds together really well. A big old hunk of slug left over, not losing a bunch of weight in our medium. Stinger, different story, blows up, everything falls apart. There's tons of fragments inside our clay, and this is what's left over. Got our little base there and that little skirt there. And finally, the uppercut. So out of a rifle, this is what I recovered. Those are all the petals that came off. I pulled out the biggest chunks. There's tons of lead left in there, so it just really blew apart. You got your little base left right there. And then to compare, these are our rounds from the last video, so these are fired out of a pistol. They actually look like jacketed hollow points, what you'd expect to see when you recovered a jacketed hollow point bullet. So overall, really interesting results. After seeing the results from the clay test, I'm actually pretty excited to see what happens with the rifle on our small game simulator. We're going to start out with the Velocitor. I feel like it's the old dependable. Same situation as the clay. We're about 10-15 yards out. Let's see, for comparison's sakes, how the Velocitor does on the dog food. Yeah, classic results there. Next up, throw a stinger downrange. Small game simulator is about to get destroyed. This is always a spectacular round to put up against dog food. Oh, man. Yeah. Yep, every time. Gotta love it. This is the big question mark. In the clay, we saw lots of segmentation. In the dog food, I'm hoping to see the same results. I'm even hoping maybe we'll see those coming out the back of our can of dog food. They penetrated pretty far in the clay, so what we're going to be looking for, hopefully, is multiple exits out of our small game simulator with the uppercut. Only one way to know for sure what it's going to do, though. Got to put a round downrange. Whew. All right. First impressions. Not as energetic as our Stinger and Velocitor, but we got to look at it still. And just like the clay, maybe we'll see something we didn't expect. You've seen the slow-mo. Let's take a close-up look at the aftermath. First up, old dependable, the Velocitor. Nice little hole in, and then we get a whole lot of trauma out the back. This has always been a really great round. I have always been a huge fan of the Velocitor. Accuracy is not that great, but if you want to put something down, this is a great round to do so with. Next up, speaking about trauma, here's the Stinger. This is the entrance. Look at that. The Stinger just messes stuff up. Out the back, no slouch either. It doesn't penetrate as far or as deep as a Velocitor, but when it hits something, you're going to know it because it is going to do a ton of damage. Both of those rounds are classics. Both always perform as you expect, and they're always spectacular. So, how did the uppercut do? Well, yeah, it's not terrible. Here we have an entrance that is similar to our Stinger. We've opened up a good bit, definitely not the tiny little poke through that we get with the Velocitor. So that's good. We're seeing a lot of that initial expansion, not too bad. And out the back, it's a pretty respectable sized hole. as well. In fact, if we look closely, let's see if I can find it again. There it is. You can even see there's some extra dimples around there, and I think I saw another one on this can. So we are getting segmenting, and the segmenting is penetrating at least that far and still moving quick enough to do a good bit of damage to the back of the can. So Uppercut compared to the Stinger, no, it's not going to do as much damage. Obviously the Stinger is going to take the win there. And as far as our exits, again, not as much damage as the Velocitor, but it does strike a nice medium ground between the two with initial expansion and a good bit of damage out the back. It puts it in an interesting place. Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to write this round off. For you guys who are just here to see cans of dog food explode and clay get blown up, we're done with all that now. Our juicy testing is over. Now we're going to talk about some nerd stuff. So I set up our Crickett to shoot 50 yards for some accuracy groups. We've got Uppercut and Stinger and Velocity on paper, 5 rounds each. I also used it for our velocity numbers because as a single shot rifle, it's probably going to give us optimal speeds, especially over the Ruger 1022 in the semi-auto platform. So first, let's take a look at our velocity numbers. I missed one shot here, but over 4 shots with the CCI Uppercut, we're looking at 1332 feet per second. So it looks like it's about in the range of a mini mag, a little bit hotter than a mini mag. Velocitor, we've got all 5 shots there coming out to 1415 feet per second, which is exactly where we expect our Velocitor to be sitting. It's within the advertised range, just off by 20 feet per second. Doing exactly what we expect there, no surprises. And then finally, we did do our Stinger, and the Stinger, 5 shots at 1482. Surprisingly, a good bit short of the advertised 1640 feet per second. The story it tells me, though, is that even though we have both these rounds, Stinger and Uppercut, that are the same case and the same weight, we are definitely not getting the same velocity out of them. The Stinger is coming out of this rifle about 100 feet per second faster. On the accuracy side of things, though, we've got a interesting story. This has been a video with a lot of surprises. This is the CCI Uppercut starting out. Let's see how she does. Here are our groups with the 3 different kinds of ammo. On the right there, our Uppercut put up a really, really nice little group there. That was my very first shot there on the right. That's why I think it was a flyer. I think I might be able to put 5 shots into a group like that with a little bit more time with this ammo. Velocitor, yeah, kind of middling group. Kind of what I expect out of most hyper velocity rounds. Same with the Stinger. You know, it's nothing to write home about. It'll get the work done at 50 yards, but Uppercut definitely runs away with a big win on accuracy. So as you can see, the Uppercut really showed out at 50 yards. We had that one flyer off to the side, but again, that was my first shot of the day. Cold bore shot, and all 4 of the other shots were within a 1/4 inch. Super great group. I would be happy with that group with match ammo. What a weird what a weird choice for CCI. As a advertised self-defense round, I don't really know how it fits in. It doesn't seem to do anything better than what's already on the market besides being a jacketed hollow point. And why do we care about that if it just does the same thing as everybody else? It's also way more expensive than what's out there. Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, this ammo has disappeared from the shelves of CCI's store, and I think if I had to be a conspiracy theorist, this bad press they're getting has maybe got them to rethink what they're doing here and pull everything and take it off the market and reevaluate. The thing is, though, if this wasn't specifically advertised as a defensive type of ammo. If they had said this is the first jacketed segmented round and put it out as that, I mean, it is doing really good out of a rifle, in my opinion. It fills a role that's between the Velocitor and the Stinger. It's got some great segmenting properties. If that's what you're looking for in a round, the Uppercut's going to deliver. I mean, in the clay, that was a beautiful segmenting flower of destruction. I couldn't have been happier with that. I was expecting to get a total dud out of this Uppercut, and we got exactly the opposite. When we shot our dog food can, it was right there in the sweet spot between the Velocitor and the Stinger. It was filling that role of just enough destruction to definitely put down whatever you're shooting at, but not so much as the Stinger, where you are going to just tear something apart. And then, you know, not as good penetration as a Velocitor, but definitely on par with the Stinger and probably a little bit better. So again, just a curious round. I don't know what CCI was thinking with this one. I think they have a decent round in the Uppercut, but not as advertised. That's about all I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you next time.